Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick, our discussion of Girls, Episode 5, Alonso, Anna, Brett, Ben. This episode I want to start with what I found most interesting about it, which was that I didn't love it. It felt a little stilted and awkward. I'm sure, as I think you're going to say too, once I start talking about it, I'm going to realize I liked it more than I did. But I don't remember any episode that Lena Dunham didn't write or direct, at least, if not both. But this one, different writer, different director, and when I noticed that at the end, I was like, oh, look what happens. Like you turn it over to your friends, and it falls to shit. A little extreme, but...
I thought it was a great episode.
You did? All right,
I did, actually, yeah. I mean, I like...
Well, then who needs her?
I like it. Well, no, I mean, you know, I didn't notice any marked change in quality. I did notice in the credits that it was somebody else. But I kind of felt like they are doubling down on her solipsism. Like, if you thought she was self-absorbed before, now she's going to, like, steal focus at a funeral and, like, not listen to the fact that her father is dealing with some sort of cancer issue and just all these things were like, oh, my God, you are so completely wrapped up in your own shit that you can't peek out of it for a second.
Isn't there a huge risk that we'd lose interest and sympathy for her if she continues in that vein?
It's interesting because there's also a part of this episode where Ray, his name's Ray, right? Starts talking about sympathetic character. And it started out with a discussion with Marnie where they were talking about her as a person, but then he actually uses like, the language, this allows you to be a sympathetic character, and then on the other side of the episode they are pushing like all the things about I'm at a funeral and I want to get a book deal still, and also my father has cancer. So I think it's one of those, they seem to be consciously doing it.
Yeah,
well, I think Anna were pointing out that Hannah was as sane as we've seen her at the beginning of the season, and that wasn't going to last.
It's not going to last. That's not an interesting series. You don't want to see her doing well. Like, things are going to melt down, and I think now she is at the beginning of the meltdown. And what I noticed in the episode is she seems to be completely oblivious to how terrible she is. I mean, people keep telling her to her face, like, you're a horrible person.
You're
not in so many words. You're self-absorbed. And either she's oblivious to it or she accepts it and she doesn't want to change it. So, her editor's wife, which was also very strange. Like, no one expected him to have a wife because he's gay.
Wife,
Yeah. She just basically like slapped her across the face verbally after Lena asked about, if there are any other editors that might want to. I'm sorry, after Hannah asked if there are any other editors that might want to pick up her book. And she was just like, all right, yeah, I'll leave the funeral. Just let me know if you have any numbers and I'll be on my way.
But to Brett's point, and that's really interesting, and I of course missed it, why is it in Hannah's, as you said, this sort of overwhelming solipsism? I mean, it defines her more than anything else, more than her any sort of artistic freedom, more than her comfort level with her body, all these things that we admire. The solipsism wins, and I think it wins by so much. Then to go to Ray and your point, then why is she sympathetic? Because she is still, but
I think to some extent you're either invited to find that part of yourself that you've done your best to sort of quash that is that way as well. Maybe you used to be like that, maybe you know somebody like that, but you love them anyway. I mean, like, that's what drama is. I mean, it's flawed characters, and you get to observe them at a safe distance and not get sucked into their crazy vortex of needs, I mean, I love the fact that she can't even like let Adam's sister stay when she's been her only champion. Once she even says, you're being really self-absorbed right now, then she's got to go too.
I also think that it is an ensemble show. And with many ensemble shows where characters are real and it's not entourage, I get to choose who I'm feeling right now. So I felt Adam the most right now, and I think I've kind of defaulted back to that. I mean, as a guy watching the show, I'm feeling Adam and I'm feeling Ray.
Who thought Ray would turn into such a vital character and this sort of consistent voice of reason?
I did not expect it. I feel like his character evolved, and so did Adam's character. And Adam's character evolved from a really unlikable guy. Because remember, in the very first episode of the series, you see him just treating Hannah like complete and utter shit. And you think that this guy has absolutely no emotions, he can't feel anything. And then now all of a sudden, he turns out to be the most empathetic of all of them.
Right.
So I really found that interesting.
To the point where sometimes I'm wondering, last episode, I got that they were like two sides of a coin, but this episode, it's just like, why is he with her now that he seems to be so together and she seems to be so apart?
Well, and she clearly seems to be sabotaging the relationship with last week's episode, ending with her telling the bullshit story about the cousin with MS or whatever that she had, fobbed off the sister.
And also so likely that Adam had heard that story before.
Or it would fall apart some way or another.
Easily fall apart. Yeah.
And then what I found interesting was that Marnie would have sex with Ray knowing that he and Shosh just broke up. That was like, wow, this is like one of your best friend's ex-boyfriends, and you're banging him, and that's a code violation.
Did anyone else, when he started telling her how she was, did anyone else go, he's going to have sex with her?
Yes.
She's going to try to sleep with him. Because that's the only way that she knows how to reassert her dominance in a relationship with someone.
Right, and also because I think because she's pretty and because she's smart enough, I'm sure she gets so much positive affirmation from the world that the one person who's willing to sort of straight shoot and tell her, by the way, you're full of shit, that's kind of catnippy in a way,
But he's basically, what I got from that is
but you're right,
she's saying, but you still want to fuck me, don't you?
Exactly, it is also a reassertion of control and power,
and then, of course,
for sure.
at the end, when he's like, don't tell anybody this because he doesn't want it to get to Shosh.
Right.
She's like I would tell anybody that.
I would advertise this. I love the wording there.
Yeah. I love the dynamic of like hot girl who can get away with so much and does, but like you're so terrible. There's so many things about you that are terrible. And is Marnie a good person at heart? There's so many things she does that aren't, but I think sometimes guys project onto attractive women. There has to be some redeeming quality about her.
Yeah,
it's been known to happen.
A lot of times there is a redeeming quality.
I kind of feel like this show is sort of like a series of Jenga stacks where everybody's eventually poised to collapse and then they rebuild again and collapse. Obviously I think Jessa is on the precipice because even Shosh is telling her to shut the fuck up. And clearly Hannah is, while perhaps mastering her OCD, although even we see some hints of it coming back when she's in the waiting room for the publisher, she starts making the noises and stuff. But I think the other stuff is going to come bite her in the ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they're you're right. The ensemble show allows you to pick and choose, because they're all pretty reprehensible. I mean, they're not even
at times,
but many of the times.
But they're capable of coming through for each other.
They
at the
are,
same
and
time.
it really, anyway, I loved that thing that Ray said, and I'm glad you reminded me of it. So I guess I did like the episode. So never mind. But I loved the thing like this. But you're a sympathetic character. Like she is, and right, maybe it's just because she's pretty, but I don't think it's because I think she seems in need. It's another thing that guys project on. Like that girl needs help, and I want to help her.
She gets sad eyes.
Yeah, right.
And then I've got to fix that about her eyes.
What she is what she is. Yeah, I'm just referring to her stupid video.
Oh, that's
right. What else happened in the dynamic with
that Edie Brickell did? This Colin Quinn straight line.
The listening table.
No.
I mean, we talked about that yet?
Yeah, that was pretty genius. Where she's trying to be all Dr. Phil and, I'm on your side.
And I think
she can hear you.
I think that's where the title "Only Child" comes into play. You're watching a relationship between two siblings. Someone's trying to resolve that, who is an only child and has no experience handling this. Right. And it plays out all the way to the end. Something that Hannah will never understand about Adam is how you can have someone else who you are so angry at and so in butt heads with so much, and you will shout, "Get the hell out of my house!" But once that happens, you're like, "No, you don't understand. She's my sister," and that's true.
Right, yeah, that was great. That was right. Yeah.
Well, and I think only child also sort of refers to the fact that she is basically the only child in her universe. Like, because as she gets more and more self-absorbed and more all of just about her own shit, she's only child on her mind, basically, is herself.
Mm-hmm.
Great scene with the second publishers. Like that was a great scene.
Those meetings happen. I love. My first meeting at Current was with the head of programming and his protege who was having some issues, and every time that guy opened his mouth, the head of programming was like, "No, that's wrong." And everyone else vibing, "Yeah, good idea. Stop it. Sit in the corner."
Oh my gosh.
So awkward. That happens.
Is that the guy with the name of a part of the world?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Yeah, and it was a great scene, and she was so funny in it, and it was, the Tombstone Pizza line, what's your brand?
So good.
That was great. That was good
And now
stuff.
she doesn't have the rights to her
I
own
love
book.
this episode. This was such a good episode.
There are good things that
she
happen.
She needs to step back from directing and writing and just.
No, but I know that limbo though, where somebody else owns your shit. I mean, like that's one of the lessons I think of the internet age or whatever is like be very cagey about what you're giving up. You look at Louis C.K. like he owns that movie that he made 15 years ago, and now he's selling it on his website or whatever. It's like I've had the thing where I wrote this book and it got published, but then the publisher basically ran out of money and they weren't going to put out any new editions of it, but I couldn't get it back, and it sucks.
That was a really great point, and there's a moment of great sympathy for her. You're like, yeah, who would do that? Who wouldn't? Why aren't there just normal people who are like, yeah, we're not going to do it. Go ahead.
Yeah,
or at least,
or give us the 12 grand back,
and then
right?
you can have it.
But and that's in their best interest because they get money out of that,
exactly.
And then they cut their losses. But then also the kind of artists there are has maybe shifted in the world, maybe with Lena Dunham / Hannah being the kind of person whose everything is based on memoirs versus the kind of artist who can just make up a story that's good.
Right. Or talk to someone else.
Right.
And get their story.
Isn't the fact that she's writing a memoir at 25 ridiculous? Like, isn't that also pretty symbolic of who she is as a person? So self-absorbed that you think that you're worth sharing with the world. Your life is worth sharing. Like, what is your memoir about? You haven't done anything.
No, she gave, what was the hand job story?
Hand job to some Cuban something on a
it
boat
was,
or something.
They sounded fascinating, but
it was a pretty.
All right,
but
okay.
no, but you're right.
No, you're
but the sad
totally
part,
right, yeah.
I mean, yes, it is totally indicative of where she is as a character and how she values her own experience. But at the same time, those books exist.
They do.
There's always some, and she's even been to parties on this show for other people who've already written that book.
We talked about it often about this idea that the show is held to this standard, and so many people dislike the show because they think, oh, that's not me, and who says that she speaks to this generation of 20-year-olds? And she never said that. But her character is getting published because there are publishers who are like, she speaks to this generation.
Right. And it doesn't Hannah say, like in the pilot, I think I might be the voice of my generation or something? So,
Right,
of course she thinks that.
Lena Dunham's not thinking that. She's just making a show about
absolutely.
people she thinks are interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess it was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, I'm glad we could have this time together.
No, it helps. That's the value of talking about it. It makes a difference. I fear, just before we go, that at least for me, that they'll get to a point where I'll get too frustrated with them because it's already turned. And I agree with you on Adam, but now all of a sudden, and I hate to, and I feel sexist just for saying it, but there's two reasonable people on the show. There's Adam and Ray, and then there's these crazy freaking girls on the show, and Shosh.
Shosh is unbearable.
She's unbearable.
I can't handle her. It was hilarious that she was being so hard on Jessa because she's so unbearable herself. So it was, I would prefer hanging out with Jessa any day, right? Even with the drug issues, even with her life falling apart, and she's self-absorbed herself, but she's definitely better than Shosh.
Yeah, if I was going to fake my own death to avoid any of them, it'd be Shosh.
Did you Anna and I watched it today, see the Tina Fey Girls spoof?
Oh,
on Saturday Night Live?
Yes, that was brilliant.
It's really great. It's worth it. Yeah, they introduced a new character.
The Albanian girl.
An Albanian girl. Yeah, it's quite good. It's really
Who
good.
has real problems?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. Real problems. Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. That's Girls episode 5. Back next week. Thanks.